Good. Yes, he's bouncing up the stairs and should be outside our lobby. Yes, he's there now, outside the lobby, on his way into our studios. And here he comes. Yes? This way, Mr. Prime Minister. Right over here.
How are you, Cliff?
Not as good as you, sir.
First time here in new studio.
Yes, welcome.
Looking fabulous.
Well, it's
I
good.
see you're all decked out for World Cup.
World Cup. By the way, who you carrying for the World Cup?
You know, I always bring Germany.
You're a German?
Always bring Germany. Yeah, you know, it, very clinical,
Yeah.
reliable, workhorse team.
Mm-hmm.
But as a Jamaican, there's always some, some reserved passion for Brazil.
Of course. Yes. The Germans don't play the beautiful
No,
game.
but very clinical, sure.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So you think they'll win this time round?
They have a good chance. They look good. They look good.
They do. They do. Prime Minister, I know you're pressed for time and you warned me about time. But we have some big issues to tackle very quickly. And King, are you ready? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Good.
Well, whilst the mic is adjusted, Cliff, I'm pressed for time because
Yes.
I travel today.
Yes.
I go to attend an energy conference in Suriname, and then I have an official visit
Yes.
to Guyana. So
Oh.
I'll be out of country for some time,
How many? How long?
a few days.
Okay.
And therefore, I thought it would be best to address these issues before I leave because,
Yes.
these issues sometimes take unnecessary route.
And the first question that Jamaicans want answered, your cabinet minister, former ambassador to the US, Audrey Marks, did she offer Jamaica, yes, would be willing to accept up to 10,000 illegal aliens in America?
Well, I suspect you mean in Jamaica.
In Jamaica.
But absolutely not. I think there is a conflation of two separate programs.
Oh.
One program which we know about now, which is the Third Country National Program, which by now possibly about 30 countries would have had. Last check it was about 28 would have had. Jamaica signed recently, so we would be one of them. And I believe Minister Dana Morris Dixon would have explained the program very well, that it is 25 per fortnight. If 10 decide to stay, then that breaks the program. Program comes to a halt. That the International Organization for Migration will assist in managing the program. The details, the logistics have not yet been worked out, and so the operational details are still being
So
negotiated at this
how
time.
did that issue of
Right.
Minister Marks
So let me quickly.
making it
So
into
let me quickly
a
explain.
diplomatic note?
Let me quickly explain. When Minister Marks was ambassador to the United States, one of her jobs would have been to advise the government of likely changes in foreign policy and how those changes would impact Jamaica. In parallel to that, Jamaica was going through some changes ourselves. We, for the first time in our history, reached what economists call full employment. And we're practically at full employment. The last figure is 3.6% unemployed. 50,000 Jamaicans are unemployed. But within that are persons seeking jobs, persons who have changed jobs, structural unemployment, some of it. Now, we have had to be figuring out what do we do when we get to 2% unemployment. We hear the calls coming in from construction, quick services, data sciences, engineering. We just don't have the skills. So we have to think way in advance. How do we treat with this when we get to that point? So the issue of the U.S. changing policy to limit Jamaican migration sparked us to start to think, you know what, we need to have a structured migration program, which is quite separate from the Third Country National program, which uses Jamaica as a transit point. So this is not even a policy, it is just the government thinking in advance.
So that is what Ambassador Minister
And
Marks would have shared with the Americans?
I think she would have shared with them a strategy of structured migration where Jamaicans could get to go to the United States because my understanding of it is that Minister Marks attended an event in the United States on my behalf, an event sponsored by, I believe it was the Shield of the Americas, if I'm not mistaken. And she attended on my behalf, and she would have suggested that Jamaica is considering a structured migration program. And I believe that that may have been taken and rolled up and conflated. So I suspect what was in the media is a diplomatic note asking, are we considering this? And we responded, we're not considering it in the sense of the TCN, the third country national. What we are thinking about is slightly different. So let me just explain that. So right now, we are looking at structured migration programs. We have examples of a structured migration program. We have the farm workers and we have the hotel workers. The unstructured programs, people come here almost every year to recruit our teachers and our nurses, creates a real dislocation in our operations. What if we were able to structure this even more? So we could say to the United States or to whichever other country, all right, if you want to recruit our teachers, well, come to us, assist us with our training. You could take them for half of the year and they can come back. Or you could take them for a year and they come back. It is a structured arrangement. Right now, we are pursuing structured arrangements with Ghana and Nigeria and India and I believe the Philippines for nurses. We have had a structured migration program with Cuba, where we have had the Cuban doctors for many years and
All right.
nurses.
So tell me, Mr. Prime Minister.
So we are looking to expand that structured migration program. So Jamaicans can go, foreigners can come, but we are not at that point yet.
Okay.
Yes.
But given the recent history of memoranda of understanding with the United States, why did your administration allow this thing to be made known to the public via a leak in a newspaper?
Well, Cliff, examine your own statement. Why would we leak? In other words,
Let me put it the other way then. Why didn't you come to the Jamaican people and tell the Jamaican people early in the day that this is what we are considering?
so let's just be clear on this. And I'm very happy you asked the question because there is a notion that Jamaicans believe that everything, all negotiations happen in public.
No.
And that is not the case, especially with bilateral negotiations. They take place as two independent diplomatic relations, two independent countries pursuing diplomatic relations. And they sit, they discuss back and forth, emails, diplomatic notes, until you come to the final document. And once the final document is done and signed, usually within the document, there is the process by which it is made public. Some documents, the parties agree that this is protected under their Secrecy Act, so it can't be released. Others, they say, with the advice or the consent, this is released. The TCN, obviously, we would have had to come to the public and say, this is what we're doing. Unfortunately, it was, as you said, leaked and conflated with a program that is just the government thinking way in advance so that when a crisis reaches us, right, we know what we're going to do. Now, just to be clear, I have been speaking about this for months, for years, and at every time I have spoken about the need to bring labor into the country, I have always said, we are not at the stage where we will import labor. And before we think about importing any labor, we must get the Jamaicans, the 50,000 who are unemployed, those who are unemployed, and the 300,000 that have not put themselves in the labor force, we must bring them in. I have been on record with that.
There's an argument, Mr. PM,
Yes.
that somehow your administration had been not forthcoming, not quick enough to agree to a TCN, unlike your other colleague countries in the Caribbean,
Cliff,
and this was part of an effort
Cliff,
to force your hand.
Cliff, can you
Is
blame?
there any credence to that? Like
Well,
this
well,
was
first
done
of
to
all,
force your hand.
well, I'm going to address that question. But your first assertion that we were slow, we were very deliberate in what we do. We considered carefully because we understand the Jamaican public, the Jamaican psyche, and how Miss Matty in Northeast Manchester is going to view it as if, the US is coming to dump unwanted persons in our country to create a problem for us. The, the issue is far more than that and deeper than that, and nobody's looking to dump. Nobody's looking to create a problem. Now, was our hands forced? Were we coerced? Absolutely not. And this is what I would wish my Jamaican people to appreciate. You have in me and in my government a prime minister and ministers who stand up for you, who seek to get the best deals for you. And I listen keenly to the response of the leader of the opposition to the TCN program. And I noticed he did not say he wouldn't have done it. I noticed he didn't say we should reject it. He said, well, it's just a pity it had to come out in this way. We should have come to the public before. But as anyone knows, and I've explained before, you can't come until you are finished with all the negotiations, everything is signed and done. So though we have signed the MOU, it is not yet implemented. It's not complete because the operationalization is not complete. Now, as soon as that is done, then we would have called a press conference. We would have said, this is what it's doing. You believe that we could have done this in secret, a plain land with 25 people. It would be all over the news. So I find it, the panic around it is almost to the point of being ridiculous, honestly. And I see people, forgive me, Cliff, for cutting you off, but I see people WhatsApping me and sending me a message, why would we do this to our country? I said, please sit and think carefully about what you're saying. We're not doing anything that 28 other countries, including within this region, have done. The United States has asked countries that it considers its friends to assist them in managing their immigration challenges. Now, who are we as Jamaicans? Are we part of the global system? Are we a friend of the United States? Are we looking to the United States to assist with things? Do we only assist in exchange for something? Is the relationship always transactional? And these are questions that we have to start to ask ourselves. I urge Jamaicans to put away the notion of thinking about our relationships only in the prism of the 70s and 80s. Now is a different time. Jamaica is an independent country. Jamaica is a country that is part of a multilateral system. We are using our foreign policy for our economic and social
Mr. Prime Minister, the difficulty with that
Yes.
about sovereignty is that you have in the President of the United States of America a man who does not respect sovereignty, a man who, it is viewed, yes, is not schooled in the art of diplomacy, a man who is prepared to march into another country and take out a prime minister, and that
A president.
a president in Maduro, and it is felt, it is being said on the streets of Jamaica that your administration is afraid of him. You're actually,
Again.
the term is you are so scared of him that you are ducking certain things and kowtowing to this man, to the Trump
Cliff,
administration.
Cliff, let me be clear.
Yes.
I know, examine your own statement. We
I'm
took very long.
putting to you,
but I'm responding to
and
you.
I'm putting to you the sentiments on the streets
And I-
that the Holness administration, unlike the Michael Manley administration of the 1970s, who stood up for Jamaica, that you're not prepared to do that.
Cliff, why are you pulling me back into the 70s? I addressed it in Parliament.
I'm contextualizing.
Contextualizing. But let's be clear. Your previous comment to me was that we took very long to agree. Is that a country kowtowing? Is that a country running at everything that is placed before us? We've been asked to do many things before and we have not. We have made sure it complies with our law. that it suits our political timetable, that it is in our interest, and it is in the interest of our friends. That's what we do. I'm not about to go on a pedestal of revolutionarism. I'm not a revolutionary. I've never sought to wear that mantle. The mantle I wear is to protect Jamaica, not on an ideological platform, which all the people who make those comments are ideologue, locked in the 70s and can't see what is in front of them. You know, you talk about the President of the United States. He may, yes, he is the leading superpower now in the world, without question. But he's not the only powerful person in the world as it is now. The notion of a unipolar world, that's gone. We are living now in what is considered to be a multipolar world. And in that multipolar world, countries are either competing or cooperating. And Jamaica has to figure out the areas in which it is going to compete and the areas in which it is going to cooperate for its national interest. So we have to understand how we position ourselves in a multipolar world. And that, I think Jamaica has exercised its foreign policy in this regard excellently. We have avoided conflicts, we have avoided challenges, and we are a country that is considered, which is highly considered, highly reputable, a country that has done extremely well.
Therefore, you must be wondering, how are you going to be dealing with the U.S. Ambassador designate, Carrie Lake, who told the U.S. Foreign Relations Committee examining her nomination to be the next U.S. Ambassador to Jamaica that one of her four priorities is to ensure that China's growing influence in Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean is halted and America become once again the preeminent power in Jamaica and the Caribbean.
Again, I do not speak on US strategy and their interests. I speak on Jamaica's strategy and our interests and how we cooperate. China is here. China is working here. But we are a country that believes in a rules-based system, rules-based multilateral system. And the United States, I've listened very keenly to her interview in the U.S. Congress, and she pointed out several areas in which she intends to work with us on. Of course, the hemispheric issue of China, it depends on what the U.S. will do. How are they going to do it? We want to see more U.S. investments in Jamaica. We want to see more U.S. firms come to Jamaica. In a way, it is the interest and absence of the U.S. in the region for a very long time, which has created this problem. So if they're planning to correct it by showing more interest and investing more and assisting more, we welcome that. As I said, it is a multipolar world, and Jamaica positions itself to be at the crossroads of that multipolar world. Now, she's also said, which we're very much interested in, that she wants to cooperate in security. And we want to cooperate on that as well. She did mention the country was successful in bringing down its murder rate, and we have worked with the United States very closely. Nobody seems to notice, to stem the flow of guns and to deal with the increased amount of drugs that is coming into the region, because as the U.S. closes off the Eastern Caribbean, drug cartels and other nefarious players are seeking to reroute to come this side of the North Caribbean. So we're prepared, and we're going to work closely with them. She mentioned working closely in terms of commerce and trade, and we definitely will work with the U.S. closely on commerce and trade. So I think I'm looking forward to the ambassador coming, but we're very clear. It's a multipolar world, and we want to see more U.S. investment
Prime
coming to the
Minister,
region.
Prime Minister, another hot current issue.
Yes.
Dr. Andrew Wheatley, does he still retain your confidence as a cabinet minister?
Dr. Wheatley retains my confidence in the work that he has been doing in the Office of the Prime Minister, particularly in AI and cyber and these other areas. As it relates to the report that was tabled on him, I have read the report briefly. I have not a chance to go through it. I do intend to be briefed by the attorneys as to exactly what is stated in the report. I do, however, feel,
His attorneys or your attorneys or the
well,
government's
the
attorneys?
party's attorneys.
Oh,
Yeah,
all the parties
yeah,
involved.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I, the charges that are suggested or recommended are serious charges. Now, the challenge, of course, is that no charge has yet been preferred on him. So until that point, we will observe the situation. Today, I'm going to leave here, run back to cabinet. I expect to see Minister Wheatley there, and we will have a fulsome discussion with him directly on the report and what to expect in the future.
Given what happened in previous years with Petrojam, of which nothing came, you've reappointed him, and you have
Yes.
come under attack for doing so. Do you regret doing so now?
So you will recall that Minister Wheatley at the time resigned in the Petrojam affair, and after the 2020 election, I did not reappoint him because those matters were not yet resolved. Those matters were since resolved, and therefore he was cleared to be reappointed. I was totally unaware of any report or any investigation. I am not aware of investigations that are ongoing. It seems to me that the PNP would know more about investigations ongoing than I do.
And that raises the issue, do you have confidence in the Integrity Commission?
The Integrity Commission is a necessary agency to tackle corruption in Jamaica. I believe there are changes that are necessary for it to become more effective.
You haven't said yes or no.
I believe there are changes to make it more effective.
So as of this moment, do you have confidence in it?
I believe there are changes that are necessary
It needs fixing.
to precisely. And this is not just my opinion. I believe that the Integrity Commission itself has suggested changes that would make it more effective.
You yourself is in their crosshairs. And I understand, and I'm putting this to you. The matter of your uncertified declarations, they brought in a forensic examiner and found nothing on which they could proceed against you. And they referred it to the Financial Investigations Division, the FID. And it is my understanding that the FID said there's nothing against you on which it can proceed. They
Well,
wrote to the Integrity Commission.
they have written to me. So
They wrote to the Integrity Commission, I gather. And the
how do you know
Integrity...
this? Because I don't know.
Oh, really?
I'm not aware that they have written.
I gather they have written to the Integrity Commission saying there's nothing there. And the Integrity Commission has responded, and responded tersely. One sentence. It says, the matter is still under investigation. Because your lawyers wrote to the IC asking them to make public the FID's position, and that's how they responded. The matter is still under investigation. Are you
Well,
not aware of that?
So I'm not aware of the FID's position. That's the point I'm making. I'm surprised that you are aware of the FID's position. How do you know what the FID's position is?
That's
we,
my
we
information.
wanted to know. Our lawyers wanted to know what it is, which is why we wrote to ask. But
But
look,
your lawyers have not only just written to ask, they've asked that it be made public.
yeah. So look, Cliff, I'm in an invidious position because I don't want to say or do anything that would prejudice my own case or prejudice the Integrity Commission. So I'm very careful in answering questions, particularly these matters that are before the court. I repeat my point that the Integrity Commission is important. It's a necessary agency of the government, but in its current form, It is in need of review, and it needs certain changes to make it more effective.
Is it biased against you and the Labour Party and the government?
Again, the Integrity Commission is a necessary, important institution. So far, it has focused heavily on
But do you
persons
think
who
it is
are
biased
in the
against you?
Jamaica Labour Party, but I could not use that to say it is biased.
Okay. One other thing before we go. What is causing the breakdown in the relationship between some of your state ministers and their cabinet ministers?
Cliff, where you get this breakdown?
They hardly speak. Your Minister of Culture, Babsy Grange, and her State Minister, Kerencia Morrison.
Yeah, I
It
will
is
answer
so
you.
bad, I gather it has reached the cabinet, where this matter has been discussed at cabinet, because there
Yeah,
is a problem.
Cliff, I wouldn't make a special case here. The interpersonal and human resource management challenges in a government, in a ministry, in an industry, in a business, it's all there. People have different personality types and different ways of leading and governing. My job is to ensure that professionalism reigns at all times and that the people of Jamaica are not deprived. So ultimately, I have to look at how I deploy the resources that are at my disposal for the best outcome. So I will be looking at redeployment to make sure that the people of Jamaica are always well served.
You're looking at making changes to the political executive?
It is always, always something that I must do. Yes, always.
And this
Not
would have-
just now, but always.
But this would have been triggered partly by those problems you're having?
So even things that haven't come to the public for
Yes.
would also make me look to see where would be the best place for someone to serve or not to serve.
Yes.
So this is always under review.
Yes.
Always.
And you have some senior veterans now who are
Precisely.
looking at
Yeah.
the departure.
So,
now.
so as a prime minister, I have to look at succession planning. I have to look at training. I have to look at giving people exposure. I have to create a nursery of leadership, and I have to assign people to work together in teams who are best fit and best suited. But at the same time, you're not a minister with any special assignment. A minister must have certain general capabilities that you can work wherever you are assigned. There's no specialist minister. And I think that needs to be clearly understood. So you can't say, I didn't like this portfolio, or I don't like, you're a minister, meaning you're a servant of the people. You administer the affairs of the people. So wherever you're put, you should have the capabilities to do it. You're not there because you're a subject specialist.
You have a very big vacancy in the diplomatic arena.
I thought you said that.
Yeah, all right, this is the last one.
Yeah.
Have you made a decision on who is going to be Jamaica's next ambassador to Washington?
Not
DC?
yet. We're actively considering options, but we haven't made a decision yet.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Prime
Thank you,
Minister.
Cliff, and thank you for affording me the time. I know there might be some other journalists who would be upset, but I'm going to be passing through. When I come back, I'll stop at a few others.
Thank you very much for
Cliff,
passing
thank you
through.
for
You're
having
welcome, sir. Good. Take care. Good. We're going to go to the break and come back with more.